We continue with our catechism about the commandment of God, the seventh and the 10th commandment together. And that is about honesty. It's very important to teach this virtue. And you can see this image is showing a child stealing something, some food in the cupboard, and an adult stealing in a safe. But it is the same sin. And you start as a child and you end up as an adult, as a thief. It's important that in education, we are very strict with children. Very strict, teaching them virtue and preventing them to acquire bad habits. It's very important for the parents to take care of the morality of the children. Because it's when they are small that they take the habits that they will keep for all their life. As the child saw the man. If parents laugh indulgently at their child stealing food from the cupboard, keeping back change after errands, copying in examinations, throwing stones to break windows, defacing walls and books, picking flowers and fruits from another person's garden, then those parents must not be surprised if, when the child is grown up, he steals from the bank, forges signatures, cheats his employers, etc. Yeah. What does God forbid in the seventh commandment? In the seventh commandment, God forbids all dishonesty, such as stealing, cheating, unjust keeping of what belongs to others, unjust damage to the property of others, and the accepting of bribes by public officials. Yeah, this is what is under this commandment. Of course, you find that in the Bible, this need for honesty. And as usual, you have the desire in the heart, concupiscence, you grow the concupiscence in your heart, and later on you do it in real, okay? But everything is starting with the concupiscence. This is why the commandments don't only tell you don't steal. They even tell you in the 10th commandment, don't desire unjustly, don't covet, don't be envious, because from this envy, from this bad desire of coveting, you grow, of course, the temptation. And one day now you fall in the seventh commandment, stealing for real something. This is why these two commandments are linked, because we don't want only to control the external world. We also want the heart to be pure of bad desires. There is an exception that the Catechism is giving there, where someone could take what is not his. That is a case of extreme necessity. Because we remember at the beginning of the creation, everything was common. The earth has been created for all of us, and all the fruits and the trees and the surface of the earth was given to all of us. After has come private property, and private property is good and has to be protected. It's a need of human being to have some private property. But in case of extreme necessity, we say that all good become common again. In case of extreme necessity. You really need to save the life of your child and take this child to the hospital. There is a car there, the keys are on the car. If the only solution to save the life is to take this car, you take this car, even if it's not yours. Because in case of extreme necessity, it is not reasonable to refuse to borrow a car to save the life of a child or someone, okay? And even for the food, someone is not supposed to die of hunger if he can take some food. And it's not reasonable to refuse this food to someone who is dying out of hunger. It means this person is allowed to take something to survive. This is why we say one who is starving may, however, take what he absolutely needs. The right to live is above the right of property. But this permission must be used only in rare and extreme cases, when all other means have been exhausted. Of course, we don't want to encourage someone to say, oh, let me be a thief, no? I have no work, but because I am hungry, I can just take what I need. No, we don't want to encourage this kind of behavior. It has to be exceptional. These obligations regarding honesty are imposed on us in conscience, even though the civil laws may not compel us. Let us be aware of this problem. There is a difference between the law of God and the law of the government. Because the law of God doesn't change and is for everybody. But the law of man can be wrong. But for some people, they don't make the distinction. If something is lawful, they think it's good. And now if abortion is lawful, they think they can abort. Or if contraception is lawful, they think they can use it. And that is totally wrong. Something can be lawful, like divorce. Yes, you can go to Sharia house and file for divorce. It is lawful. But this law is against the law of God. There is no divorce in front of God. And that is important. Don't say, oh, okay, I can go for Sharia house, this is a legal process, it's good, I can do it. Yes, it's legal, but it is totally opposed to the will of God. And you cannot do it morally speaking, because there is a law of God to forbid this kind of action. But let us not be mistaken by the civil law when the civil law goes against the law of God. Of course, a civil law that is wrong doesn't oblige and cannot allow us to do something that is wrong. Even if the government is telling you, okay, you can take the good of these kind of people. I know these things can happen sometimes in politics. It can tell you, okay, don't pay rent, that's free for you. No, that is not right. You cannot, even if the government is telling you, stop paying what you owe, it's not possible. It's not possible. No government can you tell that. Can tell you that. It's against the law of God. Of course, bribes. You can see the Catechism is quite exact in what he says. He says, and the accepting of bribes by public officials. We are really pointing the accepting of bribes. That is really forbidden by the law of God. Because we know, and even the moral theology says that when there is no option, you can give something. And that has always been taught in the Catholic Church. In the seminary, we teach that. If there is no way you can cross this border if you don't give something and pass. What can you do? What can you do? And the Church has always allowed these kind of things. It's not good for the society, but it becomes a kind of civil law, of these things are like that. This is how the society is working. And there is no way you can pass this border if you don't give something to this policeman. And the moral theology says, okay, give something. You are not the one unjust. You are not the one unjust. And this is why the Catechism is telling you that God forbid to accept bribe. And that you should never accept a bribe. Never. But if you are forced to give something because there is no way you can escape, you are not committing a sin. You are not committing a sin. It's just a bad organization of the society. And sometimes the police, by some governments, they were told, okay, you live on the people. That is your salary. Live on the people. You can see sometimes it becomes somehow official in some countries. They don't have enough salary and they are told, you will look for your bread. In this case, you can be obliged to give something. It's not your sin. But of course, it's good to refuse if you can, because don't entertain this kind of system. But let us go to the details of these sins. The chief violations of the 7 commandments are the following. Stealing or theft is a secret taking of another person's property. Few sins are more common than theft. Covetousness leads to theft. Those who like to show themselves off in luxury but have not the means frequently resort to theft. One must be very careful in avoiding even petty theft. or he will contract a vice, and in a short time will find himself stealing more valuable things. I would like just to say something about honesty. Honesty is a necessity for the social life. There is no social life without honesty. If we develop these habits, and we accept these habits, and we tolerate these habits to steal, to lie, to cheat, we destroy the society. And that is extremely bad and serious, to destroy a society. Because there is no security after that. There is no trust between people. And when we indulge in these things, we destroy something very big, actually. Even when you lie to someone, you destroy something very big. You destroy trust. If you lie, you are not someone that can be trusted. You destroy trust in society, and you destroy the society itself, destroying the bond of society. This is why even theft is very, very bad, because it destroys the society. Of course, you deprive someone from his good, but not only that, you destroy the whole trust of the society. This is why it is very serious and important to avoid even small theft, even if it's just a venial sin. It's very bad, because you cannot trust. No, you are selling mandazi and someone is stealing one mandazi. He is not committing a mortal sin. It's a venial sin. But you are not in peace. You are not safe. There is no trust in this community. If someone is stealing one mandazi, what else can be stolen now? You know. This is why it is important to reach a point where we have a perfect trust within a community. Robbery is the open and forcible taking of another person's property. Theft is secret, robbery is public. Now, there is this question, when a theft becomes a mortal sin? Because, of course, to steal a mandazi is not a mortal sin, because you don't cause a serious damage. Okay? But to steal become a mortal sin when you cause a serious damage to someone. And now, where is the limit? The theologians think that the limit is when you steal the value of one day wages. Stealing a day's wages from a person is usually a mortal sin, because now someone has worked for one day, and you steal the equivalent of a full day of work. And that is a serious damage, because this is your bread for the day, your rent for the day. And this is a serious damage. It tells you where can be the limit. Some people, the daily wages maybe can be 500. It gives you a limit of what is a mortal sin for stealing. Of course, now if you steal someone who is earning 3 million a month, it doesn't mean that you can steal. You divide by 30 and you can steal that. No, you can never steal actually. And a mortal sin is not only the value of what someone is earning. it is also a bit objective. For me, I think that even to steal 1,000 Kenya shilling, even if you steal to someone who is rich, it's a mortal sin, okay? It's a mortal sin. It's something already valuable, okay? Wait. Stealing even a very small amount from a poor person is a mortal sin. Like someone has very few coins to live every day, and maybe 100 bob can be a mortal sin. Even 50 bob, if someone has only that to eat today, and you steal it, it can be a mortal sin. A number of different small thefts from the same person or different person in a space of 1 or 2 months may be a mortal sin if it amounts to a considerable sum. I imagine you are stealing 300 bobs every day in your company. The first day is not a mortal sin. Okay, it's 300 bob. But after 1 month, even after 10 days, it has become a mortal sin, okay? Of course. The accumulation of small thefts can make a mortal sin. And be careful, because some people can steal like that in the business. They say, oh, let me just take something. And you take a pen every day, you know? But this pen maybe has a cost. And that is now too much. And now it becomes a mortal sin. And you can, Cheating is depriving another of his property by crafty means, like using false weights and measures, issuing counterfeit money, adulterating food and other products for sale, forgery, falsification of documents, smuggling, tampering with boundary lines, overcharging, excessive profits, arson with a view to collection of insurance money, etc. Copying during an examination or copying the work of another and presenting it as one's own work is also cheating. By it, one obtains credit for what does not belong to him and often gets what justly belongs to another. Copyrights are a form of property that must be respected. Usury is the charging of excessive interest on money. Usurer takes unjust advantage of the need of another in order to make excessive profits. Under the appearance of helping the needy, a usurer involves them in a greater hardships, taking from them their means of livelihood. Another form of dishonesty is cornering the market, and that people do that really, which consists in buying up the entire supply of one product, such as wheat or eggs, for the purpose of forcing up prices and thus making excessive profits. We have many people who are abusing and taking too much profit on interest. And you know that people borrow a lot of money because they are in trouble. And now they are forced to borrow. And now they are sometimes given excessive rates that are not just. That can be, you take advantage of the misery of someone to make money because they are desperate. Unjust damage done to the property of others is also against the seventh commandment. Setting the property of someone on fire, damaging the crops, fishing or shooting on his grounds without permission, pulling down fences, defacing books, furniture and buildings, etc. One who does willful damage to another's property must make good the loss. Accidental damage need not be made good unless it came about through culpable negligence. Yeah, this is a kind of a small difference for when you break something, but it's just a mistake, it's an accident. It's not an injustice. Your will was not to wrong the person. You have just made an accident. You were somewhere, you broke a glass, and you are sorry, and you say, oh, I am sorry for that. You are not obliged in justice to repair it, because your will was not wrong. Maybe it's good to, but most of the time, in most of the countries in the world, the loss is for the owner, because it's an accident. And it's not an unjust aggression. But when it's something done willfully, there is an obligation of paying back. Yeah, some example of people who take advantage. They go to a farm, they pick fruit, vegetable. Some travelers have the bad habit of taking towels, dishes, pens from trains, boats, hotels. Children pick flowers from another people's garden, throw stones at houses, write on desks, walls, and fences. This is injury to the property of other people. And in education, let us be keen on educating properly the children to be honest and to respect a lot the property of other people. Public officials must be very careful not to accept bribes. They must guard against all signs of embezzlement. Officials are placed in office not to enrich themselves, but to serve the public. They must treat all the citizens fairly and justly, reject all dishonest efforts to sway them from honesty, shun all kinds of speculation, and be most careful in their duty. It is a sin to contract debts beyond one's ability to pay, and not to pay debts when due, even if able. Yeah, so some people are playing with that, borrowing money, and they know that they will never be able to give back, and people will not be able to recover from them because they have nothing. And that is also stealing. And actually, there is a problem of education. We should not spend more than what we can spend. You know, many people get broken because they want to have a lifestyle that is above their means. They got some promotion, they got a good job, and now they want a house, they want a car, they want everything, and they spend too much. They cannot make it. And now they live a bad life. Like these people, they have a car and they fuel 200 shillings every day because they cannot sustain. They cannot sustain that. And that is a way to live a bad life, actually. And out of what? Out of vainglory, out of concupiscence, out of desire to be seen. I have a car. And they don't manage properly their life, their family, because of this concupiscence. And now you want to borrow more money, you borrow to everybody, because you have, and you put your family in a danger, you put yourself in a danger, you ruin your reputation, and that is because of concupiscence. Let us not spend more than what we can, and even be reasonable. Young people should not go into debt. Most of them, not having as yet any means of earning, will have no sure source from which to repay their debts. It is very wrong to get into debt to satisfy a craving for amusement in order to buy more and more fashionable clothes, etc. Employers who do not pay a just living wage defraud others and are guilty of injustice. Employees who waste time to do bad work willfully, or neglect to take reasonable care of their employer's property violate the seventh commandment. We'll have soon a lesson about it. We'll develop that later. Another sin against this commandment is a violation of business contracts. One may be guilty of dishonesty by obtaining money or goods from others for a specific purpose and using the donated articles for other purposes. Let us respect the intention of the donors and the contract. Buying or receiving stolen goods is a sin against the seventh commandment. If we know that something has been stolen, we cannot accept to buy it. It is also a sin. Don't buy stolen phones. I remember a young man, he wanted to repair phones, to make it a business. But you know what is this kind of business? You are repairing stolen phones, actually. You cannot do that. It's not a business you can do, to repair phones, when you know that most of them are stolen. Be careful of the kind of business you do. Receiving all or a portion of the estate of the land of a deceased person, contrary to the express wishes of that person, is a sin of dishonesty, even if done with the approval of civil courts. We have to respect the will of the deceased, and you cannot receive something that they didn't want to give you. And be careful, because many people are stealing this way also, trying to get what is not for them.